What's the story, guys? How is everybody getting on? Welcome to the transfer show. Just thought I'd jump on and do this live. To be fair, there's been quite a few transfers today, actually, in the League of Ireland. There may be a few more as well. I'm hearing there's one more coming through as well, to be fair. Just reading a few stuff here on the phone as well, bits and pieces. So if you're new around here, please subscribe. That would be fantastic. Are you happy with your club's transfer dealings so far this season? Are you not happy with your club's transfer dealings this season? Today, Shelbourne announced the signing of, gotta get this wrong, Zeno Ibsen Rossi. Centre-back has joined from Cambridge United on loan. Shelbourne have a problem at centre-back, don't they? Paddy Barrett and Oren Casey look like they're going to miss quite a lot of time. Barrett in particular. So they've recalled James Roach also from Athlone Town. And Rossi has come in as well from Cambridge United. Hasn't played an awful lot of football in the last few years. I'll go through the details with some of these players in a minute. But just quick update on who signed here. Waterford FC finally got their right back. Probably their 10th choice. But Jordan Houston has signed. The 26-year-old has moved from FC Haka in Finland. I think he was a free agent, though. But I'll have a proper look at that in a second. Bohemian signed a winger, which is curious. Because they're not really playing a system with wingers at the moment. But maybe Zane Myers will come in as a Roman number 10 type player. 20-year-old comes in from Hull City in a permanent transfer. Bohs making that sign as well. Sean McHale has joined Sligo Rovers on loan from St. Patrick's Athletic. Sean McHale was at Dundalk last season, the first division. Again, a youngster. He's only 20 years old as well. Loan deal there. James Brown, or Jimmy Brown, has come in from Kilmarnock. You may remember him at Drogheda United about 3 or 4 seasons back. Very, very energetic wing back on the right. He's 27 now. He's come in and joined St. Patrick's today. James Crawford left Wexford to join Athlone Town. Interesting signing that. And another UCD player joined Shamrock Rovers. Luke O'Regan, I should say, right back, has joined Shamrock Rovers. He'll go back on loan to UCD for the rest of the season. Just looking at one of the comments there. I'll get to the comments in a second. Just going through these here. He'll go back to UCD. So he will as well till the end of the season. There's another one on here that's likely to happen as well. Hasn't gone through yet. Just before that, Ellis Chapman is likely to stay at Shelbourne. It appears he's rejected a move actually to Sligo Rovers as well. So the other one that's likely to happen is James McManus is likely to join Sligo Rovers from Bohemians. I'm not 100% sure if that's a permanent or loan. That's likely to happen. There's a decent chance some deals may not be announced till tomorrow, by the way. So even if deals don't go through tonight, they may not be announced till tomorrow. But some interesting signings there. Let me know what you think there in the comments. I'm going to get to the comments now. Again, I'm just having a look through and make sure I'm not missing anything here. But yeah, Waterford finally getting their right back as well. Just look at the comments now. James McMahon, Sligo back in loan. Has that just been announced, actually? I just mentioned it there. Barry Clatter is definitely supposed to be going to Derry, so that's one to keep an eye on as well. It hasn't been announced or anything like that. But again, there could be announcements tomorrow. Just going through the comments quickly here. I'm fine, thank you, Porrick. Fabrizio, any Galway news? Not a thing that I know of. Up the Harps. Too many similar players at Derry City, no balance. Yeah, interesting. Let me know. Yeah, maybe expand on that. If you can, what you mean about that exactly. James Brown transfer to Pats. Yeah, James Brown's an excellent player, badly needed. Up Drogheda. Any deals for Bray? Not that I'm hearing at the moment. There may not be any deals, of course. For Sligo, they know they're losing on Friday. Shamrock Rovers news. Apart from Luke O'Regan joining Shamrock Rovers from UCD, the right back, he's gone back to UCD and loan until the summer window, at least, anyway. What's been your favourite signing this season? For whatever club you support, who's been your favourite signing this season? And if Duff66672 is still around, maybe expand on that, what you mean about that. I'll let you know my opinion in a minute, but I'd like to know what you think about that as well. Again, I'm going to be doing this a lot, checking through bits and pieces on the phone. Yeah, James McManus. Yeah, just been announced, actually, officially now. And it is a loan deal. I think that's a good signing. But interesting, though, he played, didn't he, in the Aviva? He started the game for Bohs, which is interesting, in midfield. Which is surprising considering this was probably in the works. He was there last season alone. I think badly needed for Sligo Rovers. I was saying how a week or two ago, I think they're really weak in midfield. He's a good player. Shane, yeah, I agree with you. I think Pats are lacking in terms of a left wing back, to be honest with you. You see how Shamrock Rovers play that system. Their wing backs are very important to that. Jimmy Brown will be important to that for Pats. There's no doubt about it. He's a really good signing. I think Boyce will probably move to the right in a back three for Pats. He played there for Derry City quite a bit, actually. I can see that happening. France Lee's played well last 2 games. Goalie, another 2 attacking players. Probably, yeah. They've done okay in the first 2 games, though, but yeah, he's my best player. St. Pat's. Before going abroad. Yeah, no, he's a good player. He's very energetic, and I think wing-back system, if Pats are going that way, the wing-backs have to be good attacking. Not sure if the same on the left, personally. There could be still 1 or 2 more players coming in, by the way, for Pats. And there could well be... Sorry, who do you see porting the Premier... Seaport? What do you mean? There could be 1 or 2 announced tomorrow because Barry Clatter is expected to go. The other side of it is you have to remember, if players say released from their clubs, they could sign in 5 days' time or whatever. They can still sign for clubs. So interesting stuff. Yeah, if you're a Sligo fan or a Bohs fan, actually, what do you think about that deal, James? Are you disappointed that James McManus is gone as a Bohs fan? Jake Davis, if he isn't going to get a game of Clensdale. Yeah, well, they need 2 players in that position, I suppose, Jake, to be honest with you. You know yourself, like Drogheda have 2. They've Cruz and Kane, don't they? They've Buckner and Ashabat on the other side. Breslin could replace McLaren at some point. Means who do you support in the Premier Division, Keith? I'm just flicking through all the messages, so I'm probably not missing some of the points here. This particular team here, St. Patrick's Athletic, that's a bloody retro jersey, by the way. They've signed a bunch of good players, yeah, with no clear plan how they wanted them to play. Yeah, all they have to play on the left, leaving right weak, haven't replaced what they lost. Yeah, pretty much agree with that. I mentioned that I put out a Premier Division show. If you haven't seen that, check that out. I did mention that in the show, how they're playing Clark, Duffy and Markey. And the balance is wrong, basically, there as well. And still not sure about McLean in the centre of the park either, to be honest. If you're going to bring in these players, you have to... The quickest way to get them to gel is by playing them in their best positions. So it looks a bit messy at the moment for Derry City. Just a quick one, guys. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. That would be fantastic. Surprised Pat didn't go for somebody, Trevor Clark. Yeah, Clark's a bit injury prone, though, isn't he? He's a bit injury prone, to be fair. He's good and he's fit, but he's been very injured the last few years. Wish God I got Barry Coffey. I think he would be class for us. Yeah, indeed. So there are 1 or 2 players in bound pass rush. I said there might be. There might be. Again, there could be announcements tomorrow, by the way, with some players. What's happening at Garnier Rovers? Any more players to the hoops? Not that I know of. Talca Park, Dublin. I don't expect Rovers to bring anyone else in. O'Neill is still at the club, though. Mr. Bellardi, how are you? Fantastic. I'm very well. Bohs and Rovers next week. Another big game. Been impressed with Hickey signing Bohs. He's done very well so far. We've loads of midfielders. He's playing limited. Yeah, Gary, it's just weird. Yeah, I agree 100%. It's a bit strange, though, didn't he, that he played in the opening day at the Aviva. He started the game if he was going to be moving on loan. I'll be honest, though. If I was Bohs, I would have kept him and not bother signing Diallo. That's just my opinion. I would have kept him, to be honest. But maybe Reynolds doesn't fancy him for some reason. I think he's a good player. Maybe as simple as this. He just feels that he wants to play every single week. Diallo might be happy being a squad player. James McLean would be better as impact sub cover, leaving O'Reilly. But yeah, the only thing is with James McLean, and this could be a potential problem for Derry City with James McLean. The issue there could be if he gets dropped, he could throw a strop. So there could be an issue there, I think. That's the only problem. Probably needs to go back on the left. Just keeping an eye and seeing if there's any other transfer news. Any Waterford fans here, by the way, by any chance? New signs for Galway are good. We look very hard to beat again. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. They'll be disappointed with giving away that penalty, won't they? Stephen Clancy is a Sligo fan. Very happy to have McMahon's back. Yeah, badly needed in midfield. I think they're very weak in midfield, being honest with you. What do you think of Anna Brennan last Friday? Yeah, watch that game back, Brennan. Fantastic, yeah. And that's what I'm talking about when I was talking about Pats earlier on about wing backs. No one does it better than Rovers from an attacking point of view. He was excellent. What do you think of Pats fans giving Mulroney loads of stick? Well, it's not surprising. Waterford fan here, yeah. So Houston, obviously you don't know much about him, but it probably means that Luke Keeney now can move back in the midfield and give a bit more balance, I think, in midfield. To be fair. Kimber Bohs not getting any minutes first against Galway. Should go from a lot. Yeah, potentially, yeah. It's a good show. Played a lot of games in midfield, actually, for Galway. Bohs have a lot of centre-backs. They're playing three at the back. They have a lot of centre-backs. Score prediction for tomorrow night. You have to go. I think, yeah, actually, I might agree with that. 2-0 Rovers. Just quickly here. I'll be keeping an eye and see if there's any updates on signings as well. As I said, McManus on his way to Bohs, and then 2 minutes later, Sligo Rovers from Bohs. 2 minutes later, it's official. Podge Hammond. Shells tried to sign him, but he wanted to stay at Waterford. Simple. Strap away, not players winning club. Should be good for you. Yeah, but I agree with you 1,000,000%. But I have a feeling I think Lynch could be caught between a rock and a hard place there. Do my best, particularly during the summer. I'll see if I can get there during the summer. I'll have to look at the dates. Hopefully starting midfield look week. Yeah. McManus joins Sligo, leaves it there. Certainly does, Anthony. Will John Caulfield bring another forward? I don't think he will, but he may do. I don't think he will, though. Chelsea for my sins. Support. I'm not sure, but yeah. First manager to leave the season. In the Premier Division? If I had to call it, you know who I'd say? I'd actually say Tiernan Lynch, because I think if Derry City continues to struggle, I think he might pay the price, to be honest. I think the teams expected to be near the bottom probably won't get rid of the manager until later in the season, if that was the case. I think, like to say, Galway or Waterford or maybe Sligo or Dundalk. I don't see that happening. Could we have a situation where we go through the whole season and no manager gets a sack? It's possible. Yeah, James McManus. Yeah, very good signing. That loan signing. Sean McHale could be a shrewd one as well, to be honest. Sean McHale could be a shrewd one for Sligo Rovers too, in fairness. So that could be an interesting one. Just look at some of the comments here. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier on. Zainab Rossi on loan from Cambridge United. Hasn't played an awful lot of football in the last few years. A bit of an emergency signing. As I said, Shelbourne centre backs. Paddy Barrett looks like he's going to be out for a good while, by the way. And Casey, seemingly, I'm not sure how long, but he's going to miss the foreseeable, to be fair. Sorry, May 16th, Saturday, Sligo, Galway, and 1 in July, GA same as Salt Hill. I'd rather not go to the Pearse Stadium game if possible, you see. I'd rather, if I was going to Galway and vlogging, I'd rather go to aim in DC, to be honest with you. Tala tomorrow. Keith, how are you? No, I won't be at Tala tomorrow, unfortunately. But I'll be at Dalymount on Friday. That was a good young talent in Bray. Cork have to be favourites, so their front three is Premier Division quality. Maguire and Bongo and Keating. Won't be surprised if Kenny got the sack. I think he'd be all right. I actually think Pats might be okay. And I know he's having a big say in the signings at the moment, which is a change for Pats. So I don't see that happening, I'll be honest with you. I think he'll be allowed a couple of seasons to try and build the Pats and build a squad and build an image. Yeah, look, Rovers look strong when you have Noonan, Byrne, and Burke coming off the bench. You kind of go, hang on a minute. Happened Barrett. Yeah, Barrett picked up an injury. He went off after about 42 minutes. I'm not sure the extent of the injury, but I'm hearing it could be a couple of months. So a couple of James Roach, obviously, back recalled from Athlone and loan as well. A bit sickening for Athlone to lose him after 2 matches, isn't it? It is, but that's the way it is. I'm just going to have a quick look at Houston, who signed for Waterford, and just go through some of the details on him. Waterford have been looking for a right back, to be fair, all summer. They were trying to get Axel Shelbourne, who eventually went back to Sweden. I knew he would. They were trying to get Barry Clatter, who I still expect to sign for Derry City, by the way. And who else were they trying to sign? Dara Power was another one. Waterford were trying to get him back. And probably one or two others. But yeah, Houston, the 26-year-old fullback, makes the move to the RC this week, having recently played for FC Häcken, Finland, where he spent the last 12 months for the Finnish Premier League side. Houston is a product of the Rangers FC Academy, having spent the majority of his underage career at the Glasgow club. After spending time at Rangers' reserve side, he was rewarded with his first team debut for the club, coming on as a second-half substitute in the 3-1 Scottish League Cup clash away to Cowdenbeath way back in 2019. Yeah. John Daly said, "We're really pleased to bring Jordan Houston to the football club. As a right back, he gives the balance we're looking for in both aspects of the game. He's aggressive and disciplined defensively, and has really good energy going forward with excellent quality to deliver crosses into the box." Yeah, I'm just thinking to myself there when I'm reading that. Of course, John Daly played for Rangers and that, and would still have a few links in Scotland, so, and actually in Finland as well. John Daly loves Rangers. He definitely signed Serge, who wasn't great, by the way, at Pats from a Finnish side as well. I think you're right with Lynch Call. Definitely think it's vastly underestimated. Possibly. Control. Yeah, agree. 100%. And it's brought good players to the club. But there's so many of them. Like in the opening day of the season, it's 6 new signings to starters. But the thing is, they all played. Like he's had Winchester playing right back at one point this season, and he moves him back in the midfield again and stuff. I'd play Adam O'Reilly all day, every day in the Derry City midfield, personally. Like, you know, that kind of way. France Spur on the move again. Yeah, seen that. He was actually linked with Bohs as well. Talk of ACL injury, yeah. Yeah, Meepo's out for months, 100%. Definitely out for months, yeah. ACL injury would be a disaster. Shells have struggled at the start as well. The summer window is always huge as well, particularly near the bottom of the league. Whoever gets it right in the summer window, at the bottom of the league in the last few years, it's saved them basically. Dropped it 2 years ago, and I would say Sligo Rovers last season as well. I think it's going to win the league. I said Derry City in my prediction video because I thought they might have. I was thinking if they could hit the ground running with a couple of games of the Brandywell in particular, and I thought they might have that extra bit of hunger. But looking at them already, I think I'm changing my mind and saying Shamrock Rovers. Great idea for a show, Keno Palmations around the Jim White style. uh, bring Mo Dyer back to the league. Aaron Dobbs, yeah, I do. Aaron Dobbs is not playing football basically this year. He's playing football, I believe, with Wexford, as in Gaelic football. Clatter had issued issue in his previous level stint on player. Clatter, I think, is a great athlete. He's a fantastic athlete, Clatter. He has a lot of personal issues, though, for sure. There's no doubt. I think clubs will do in Europe this season. In terms of Europe, I think we won't get two teams in the Conference League this season, unfortunately. I think Shamrock Rovers are the only club capable of coming through the early stages of the Conference League, like they did last year. And even at that, they did well to beat Santa Clara over two legs. I don't see any of the other clubs getting through the Conference League phase. I just don't see them getting through all those rounds. The Champions phase is easier. Of course, Derry are in the Europa League, so they do drop down into the conference, so they'd have an easier chance to do it. And maybe they'll improve by then as well. So possibly Derry. Yeah, Shell's interesting game in Drogheda next Friday. Was anyone chat anymore about players coming for Pat's transfer deadline day? Hope you're keeping well. Keep thoughts on Waterford for the season. It's been a tough start for Waterford. I had Waterford, Sligo Rovers, Dundalk, and Galway United in the bottom four. But I did say it's very difficult to judge where they'll finish. But I'm convinced those four will be the bottom four, to be honest with you. I think Dundalk will be all right. I think if it comes to a battle, I think Galway might have enough. I'd be worried for Waterford if they were down there and it became a battle. To be fair. They do have some good players of Conan Noonan, yeah. Ammond, I think Lonergan's a good player. They need to get the balance right by getting Heaney back in the midfield. McLaughlin's better in a more attacking position. The problem is I don't think you can have McLaughlin and Noonan in the same team. That's my personal opinion. Don't think they're strong enough at the back. They could finish bottom genuinely, but they could finish 6th or 7th either. It's difficult. Worried for Sligo, to be honest. McManus will help. That was a good signing today, McManus, I think. Billy O'Neill, yeah, absolutely. But I think he has his heart set on moving abroad immediately, to be honest with you, as soon as he can. Already Bristol City were trying to sign him. He's expected to... Is he 18 by the summer? He may be 18 by the summer, I'm not sure. But Bristol City are definitely expected to sign him anyway. Let's have a quick look and see if there's anything else happening elsewhere. At the moment. Again, if there's a few signings, they may clubs could still announce signings tomorrow. I mean, the registration could go through this evening. Also, a free agent could go anytime, so expect Clatter to go to Derry City, but he could be released on a free and then sign for Derry City potentially, which means he doesn't have to be signed by tonight. Pro, yeah, probably would suit Galway a bit. I agree with that. Score prediction: Bohs Rovers on Friday. I have to think about that one. I'd probably change my mind. I'd have to see how Rovers get on tomorrow night as well. Against Dundalk. So I'll wait for that one. But at the moment, look, it could be anything. Bohs have had a really good start. Unusually, Bohs playing Rovers in a Dublin derby where Bohs are actually ahead of Rovers in the league. Might be a bit of pressure on Bohs in a sense. And the first game at Dailyman Park of the season, of course, as well. Porrick, yeah, I've seen that, Porrick. I think I seen that about a week ago, to be fair. Interestingly, hasn't signed yet. Let me know in the comments as well, anyone who's watching. Is there If there's one particular position or area in the pitch you think your team is short, and that's where we need to sort out the team. We need to replace. We need to improve. Where are you saying one position only? Subscribe to the channel, guys, as well. If you haven't hit that button, please subscribe to the channel. That would be fantastic. 2 on Bohs. Maybe, yeah. Difficult. Management, Anthony. Who? What club? Harps right back and striker. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Striker, do you think? Yeah. They've a lot of goals in the team, Harps. I'll say that, though. Drog centre forward. Yeah. Yeah, Aluba doesn't score, does he? Davis is out injured at the moment. Kareem, I'm still not convinced on Kareem. I mean, Connor Keely's technically a centre forward. Shells need an attacking what? Same central defender. Interesting. Do you think so? Shamrock Rovers striker. You could say that about Rovers for the last 6 years, and they haven't needed a striker, apparently. I think Johnny Kenny was the only one, wasn't he, who hit the 20-goal mark, and that was in all competitions. Bohs need another. There's David, how are you? Bohs need another striker for me. Just need that. Yeah, it depends how they want to play. Like, obviously, Whelan, Dougie likes an injury, though, doesn't he? To be honest. But you're right. After that, yeah, I agree. Then if players like Parsons play up front in the forward, he's not forward, though, is he really? Let's be honest about it. Cork City midfielder, winger, and full backs. That's a lot of players, Alex. But do they need them? For the first division, though. Chelsea, an attacking coach. What's your first team to be relegated in the League of Ireland, please? Well, I said Galway in the prediction video. I'm going to stick with them, but I'm not convinced either. Patserfield, Turner, leave for Drogheda. Yeah, Turner's a lot to prove, I'll say, to be honest with you. I do like a left-footed centre-back. Keely's very good. We all know that. Not right now, but I look for them in the summer. His role at Drogheda is probably different to his role at Pats, Keely. He looked like he didn't enjoy his time at Pats either, so that's the other point. Like, if a player isn't enjoying his time at the club, then you're better off letting that player go, and he's obviously thriving at Drogheda again, to be fair. Alex, you're talking about kind of if they were to get promotion, that's what I tell you what, again, I'll come back to it, but Maguire, Keating are fine in the Premier Division if they're fit. And Pongo was excellent at Finn Harps last year as well. For me, he's a Premier Division player, so they've added there big time. I wouldn't rule out Waterford either, Liam. I think Dundalk will be all right. I just think they'll be all right. Let's have a quick look, see if anything else is happening. Any new transfers? What's the transfer that's impressed you the most? But it can't be your club. Let me know as well in the comments. Once again, guys, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button in the front of your Cork. Absolutely, Shane. What happened Cork last season, Shane, I'll be honest as well, is that Keating gets injured for the whole season. Maguire was in and out through injuries. Cottle O'Sullivan was missing as well. And Dykesteel has left the club now, was injured. Those four, that was a killer for Cork. That they had no chance in that scenario. They needed all of them to be fit to have a chance. I think highly rated Keely for Pats before he left for Rovers. Connor Keely, Drogheda, you mean? Some massive games coming up on Friday as well. Looking forward to that in general. Just did a Premier Division video as well, guys. So keep an eye on that too. Looking back at the games last weekend. There'll be a First Division show out during the week as well. Not sure what day yet. Maybe Tuesday? Possibly Wednesday. I'll be looking back at the games and giving predictions for the upcoming games. Cork and Athlone have started brilliantly, haven't they? Mark Doyle back at Drogs. Yeah, good signing, Mark Doyle. Mark Doyle just he's an knack of getting goals. He's not the type of player that looks like he's involved in a game much, if you get me. But he's a knack of getting into the right areas, scoring goals. And in this league in particular, like I'd take that over a player that maybe seems like he's involved a lot but doesn't really score, particularly from an attacking position. 100%. Yeah, they don't that do, but like anything, but they don't say anything anyway. So, what would you rate this transfer out of 10? France Pirro to Bohs, Keith. Hello, Lindsay. France Pirro. 6. He was good at a spell at Drogheda, but I'll be honest, and I know this for a fact, he had a bit of an attitude around the training ground. He was quite lazy. He didn't really fit into the ethos of Drogheda. They were delighted to get rid of him, basically. He had a good spell for a couple of months, though, to be fair, but he can be quite lazy. I think Bohs could do better, though, being honest. Adam Brennan looks at Rovers signing in for Pat's Academy. What happened to France? Pirro to Bohs. My mistake. I meant to say highly right car. Okay. Yeah. I do think Bohs, someone said that Bohs are short another option up front because, as I said, Dougie kind of has these injuries where almost mystery injuries. You don't hear anything. He's just suddenly not available. Jarvis is a good shout. Yeah. Still has to get going at Shells, but yeah. Probably not up to speed fitness-wise. Hasn't played much. Yeah, I agree, David. Shells, in fairness, have played their first 2 games this season with 4 at the back, though. To be honest, they have gone back to a back 4 at this minute in time. They have. Quick questions. I don't know. I think they know who the highest player in the league is. Alex. I believe it's Jack Byrne. Who do I think won the window? There's a question. Who won the window? Depends what way you look at it. We're just talking about players in and not counting players out. Who won the window? I think technically Derry City brought in the most impressive individual players in the window. If we're talking about that, to be honest. But you have to blend them into a unit. I think Bohs have done quite well as well. I think Rovers have been quite shrewd as well, to be fair. Pats have done okay with some of the players they've brought in, I have to say. Probably need a bit more. Shane Bell, both strikers are injury prone, but both are good strikers. I don't think Colin Whelan's really injury prone, though. I think he's had 2 horrific injuries. Do you know what I mean? ACLs. It's not as if he misses, he gets injured regularly, as in he's out with a hamstring, he's out with a calf or whatever. I think he's just been unlucky. Dougie is a bit prone to injury, though. He was the moose sign of the winter window. Yeah, good one. Second Bohs FC transfers in. Hi, Keith. Hope you're well. Do you know who this young lad signed called Zorro is? The Mask of Zorro. Zorro, I think he came from the youth academy, no? Ben, I'm pretty sure he was in the youth academy. Seems to be no new signings at this minute in time. Yeah, he was playing with the under 19 team at Pats. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's come from the youth academy, Pats. Yeah, he was playing for the under 20s last night. There you go. Yeah, he was definitely a youth academy player. Friday, but he's signed for Ivory Coast. Joined. Pats had a very poor window. Do you think so, Lenny? Boyce, Mata. I know Mata's say fit. James Brown. What else they brought in? I'm trying to think now at the top of my head. They just haven't brought in enough for me. But I think, do you know where I think Pats have done well, really, though? And I honestly believe this. And you mightn't see it for a while, but the players out, I think Pats done well with. It's the players out they done well with. I think they're kind of trying to start with a foundation now, to be honest with you, and build for the next year or two. I don't think everything was going to be sorted in one window at Pats. You know what I mean? Doing Golden Boot this year, Keith. I don't know. You know what? It really does depend on fitness levels of players, and a penalty taker will definitely get it. I mean, no one would have said Colin Whelan. Now suddenly everyone will say Colin Whelan. That kind of way. If Noonan plays a lot of games for Rovers, he'd have to be in there with a shout, I think. Keane, but fitness is a big thing with Keane. He will be on penalties as well. It's mad we don't have strikers breaking 15 goals, to be honest. Why are your foundation players at Pats, though? Who are your foundation players at Pats? Anang, the goalkeeper. Joe Redmond. Who else have they got? I think Bagley's a good player. They just need to get the balance of midfield right. Nugent comes in, gives them legs. Keena, Mata, if you can keep them fit, that's a decent partnership up front, you'd have to say. James Brown coming in there as well. Boyce, I think, very hard worker as well. So, and I think they got rid of a lot of players that weren't working or didn't have the greatest attitude at the club. I think that needed to be sorted, and it's going to take a bit more time, though. I think James Taylor will be up there. It wasn't made of glass. Yeah. The Noonan story. I don't know. I think it's a bit weird, to be honest with you, Keith. What do you think of it? I think it's a bit odd. I don't. For a start, he didn't want to go to Hoffenheim, so I don't really know. It's a little bit strange for me, to be honest. What do you think? You think two clubs will be relegated, Liam? Don't know. Dundalk had a very good window too. I do, yeah. For a team that came up, Dundalk had a great window. John Ross Wilson, Bobby Burns, Connor Cairns, even though he made a mistake the other day. Buckley, Cornwall, experience-wise. Danny Mullen. Yeah, for a team that's come up, Dundalk had a great window. Absolutely. 100%. I don't really want to talk too much about it, to be honest with you, because you never know who's watching and stuff like that. So I don't want to speak ill of anyone in this situation, if you know what I mean. But I think it's a little bit odd. I'll be honest. Do you think it's easy for Dundalk? Yeah, it's easy for Dundalk and Drogheda to sign players from Dublin. Of course it is, yeah, because you don't have to move basically. Galway, Sligo, you kind of have to. Yeah, it is more difficult. And it's not surprised to see that Galway and Sligo tend to, don't they? They attack the farm market quite a bit. 100% more difficult. Yeah, absolutely. Next transfer window is in the summer. I think it's June. Yeah, Joey Nang will be a massive loss to Pats. I think Joey Nang's an outstanding goalkeeper. I really do. The problem is people have seen some errors that happened live in television and matches, and they seem to judge him on that. But if you see him week to week, you'd have a different opinion on him. There's no goalkeeper in this league that doesn't make mistakes anyway. They wouldn't be in the league otherwise. Thoughts on the current situation? Yeah, again, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Again, I think it's a little bit odd. I suspect there's a lot that we don't know. Anang will be at the World Cup. Yeah, he's in the squad, the Ghana squad. Yeah, Keith. Yeah, strange timing for it. Yeah, but hard to know who's in his ear. Right, absolutely. I believe he prefers to be Celtic. Yeah, 100%. So can't understand why complaints have been made. Yeah, absolutely. No, 100%. That's why I don't understand why the complaints have been made. I've heard he doesn't want to go to Hoffenheim, so don't understand what's going on. I think as well, put it this way, he's a young lad, he's a great lad, and he's a young lad. But some people, let's say, behind the scenes are close to him, have to let him make his decisions as well. The breakthrough star this season, apart from Adam Brennan. Breakthrough star. That's a difficult one. I'm trying to think in terms of not missing anyone. Oh, that's a question. I'd throw in Victor, potentially at Shamrock Rovers. He didn't play a lot last season. I think you're going to see a lot from him this season, I think, to be honest. Any chance of League of Ireland players getting near the Irish squad? Nah, no chance, I would say. Yeah, Senna Mullen. I was thinking of players that haven't signed for a club rather than a breakthrough. Do you know what I mean? Even Brennan has signed, doesn't he? I was thinking more someone like a Victor who's literally come through at a club, if you know what I mean. It's difficult because I'm thinking of Bohs. I don't see many of their players breaking through from the youth. Same with Pats at the moment. Rovers, Victor could be the breakthrough. He wasn't really a star last season, for honest about it. Well, Mullen's been good. He was very lucky not to be sent off at the Aviva, though, to be honest. Extremely lucky. He really should have been sent off in that game. Possibly twice. He got hooked about 30 seconds after when he pulled back, I think it was Boyce. And the ref knew he was on a yellow and didn't even give a free, which was bizarre, but could have been sent off for the first challenge as well. But looks a good player. Never read Keith. I had 2 Bohs who messaged me who said he should have been sent off. So it's mad if he was sent off. That was early in the game, wasn't he? The first one. I think that would have been a big problem for Bohs, particularly at the Aviva and a big pitch. I'm pretty sure, Gary, you were one of the Bohs fans that said he should have been sent off. So no, Dele Alli is going to go to Shelbourne instead, to be fair. But Lenny, he did bottle the situation second half. Genuinely, Boyce was running through, and it was a clear sending pulled them back like that. And the referee knew if he gave the free, we had a very good view of it, that he'd have to give him a yellow. He didn't give the free. About 5, and then Mullen comes off. 5 minutes later, Boyce wins a free kick for a challenge that wasn't even a foul. I don't know. You know yourself. Just wondering, is the League of Ireland transfer deadline on Sky Sports News tonight? It should be. It bloody should be in Sky Sports News tonight. To be fair. No more transfer rumour shows in June. Potentially, unless there's stuff, if there's a collection of stuff in May, that could be the case as well. Just have a quick look and see if anything else has happened. Of course, the other sign, not today, but I think Rovers made a good sign with Tomiche Sobowale as well. Very athletic, agile wing back. They get it right so often with their wing backs, Rovers. That's so weird. I've just mentioned it, and here's a message here. Yeah, I do. I think he will be. He's very agile, good pace. Will suit Rovers down to the ground. Do you know what the thing is, Lenny, with Afolabi when he left? And there's been a number of strikers like this as well. I never thought he should have left, to be honest with you. He went through a good spell. If you remember when he first came in Bohs, he struggled badly. As soon as he gets a good spell, off he goes. And what has he done since he's left? Not much. You know. I fully expect Clatter to join Derry. Fully do. It might not happen tonight, though. As I said, there could be announcements tomorrow. And also, there's a possibility that his contract gets ripped up, which means that he can sign anytime as such. It doesn't have to be by tonight. Very surprised if he doesn't sign. I think it tends to continue to rise. I think we've reached the ceiling, to be honest with you. That's where the facilities have to come into play. Yeah, nobody needs an injury-prone striker, Lenny. You know, that's what I mean with Pats, Lenny, when I talk about Keane and Matt, and I think I mentioned this elsewhere, is that, you know, if they're fit for most of the season, you know, that's a major plus, and if they're not, that's a major negative. So Pats the season could depend on how fit or not they are. It's the deadline. Yeah, the deadline is tonight, but the clubs could still announce signings tomorrow. They could be registered tonight, but they could be announced tomorrow, you know? Dad's on loan down Fan TV, apparently. Sold on a permanent, Gary. What about that other boy Robert signed from UCD? Yeah, I mentioned him, all right. You're talking about Luke O'Regan. He's a right back. He's gone back to UCD on loan until the summer, anyway. Free agents cannot be any time. That's one of my points. So say Barry Carter's contract gets ripped up, which could do by mutual consent. He could sign hypothetically on Thursday, you know what I mean, for Derry City. Drogs could do. Galway news, I'm hearing nothing in Galway at the moment, to be fair. Internet over the offseason, never materials in the end. Interesting question, Lenny. Yeah, Deli Ali the Bohs. I'm trying to think back now. I had like a save for things like this. I heard loads of rumors. I heard a good few that I thought no chance. Like I just knew they weren't happening. Like, give me a minute though. The players that move across the UK don't need to do much though. They still earn a ton more than here, even in bench one. Here's one for you though. A lot of people might know this. This is mental, and trust me, this is correct, right? Scottish SPL, right? Motherwell. I think they're 4th or 5th in Scotland. They do quite well, right? There's 5 teams in the League of Ireland that have a bigger budget than Motherwell. I think that's crazy. At this minute in time, 5 teams in the League of Ireland have a bigger budget than Motherwell. One thing that people don't understand, or not understand, don't think of sometimes, is that when they think of, say, the SPL outside of Rangers, Celtic, and that, an awful lot of teams in the SPL don't be in Europe regularly. So if you compare, say, even, I know, Hibernian to, say, I know, Shamrock Rovers. Shamrock Rovers in Europe every year. And they're making money in Europe every year. Hibs aren't. Any last minute deals expect to be done? I think, as I said, Clatter will go to Derry City. But will it be done tonight? There's a couple Pats, I think, are looking to bring in 1 or 2 players as well. But again, if they happen, they could be announced tomorrow. The signings can be made tonight, but the announcements, especially if they're going to be last minute, may happen tomorrow. That's mad, Shane, isn't it? And I think the what the fuck is about my Motherwell point. Yeah, flipping crazy. Trust me on that, by the way. That's a good one, Salmon. By the way, guys, if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. That's a good question. I knew he'd start. I knew he'd start for Hibs straight away. Name 5 players you think at this minute in time. Michael Duffy, for sure. For sure, off the bat. Half the Rovers team, to be honest with you. Simple as that. Honestly, half the Shamrock Rovers team. Dawson Devoy, Wood. I know Ross Tierney didn't make it at Motherwell, but he could definitely get in some teams in Scotland. There's no doubt about it. Some of the goalkeepers, I think Nang certainly could. I think McGinty could. Trying to think of other clubs as well. Harry Wood would. Yeah, I think that's just the top of my head. If you're playing in the division, put some in the shop window. Of course, yeah, absolutely. The ceiling's higher in SPL, 100%. Yeah, definitely. Where did you use my past players might be coming in? I can't tell you that, Liam. Expect Shells, I don't think so. But I didn't expect the Rossi sign either, so you wouldn't know. Mother average time's only 7, and yeah, that's true. And they're not getting in Europe. So some people don't consider sometimes when you think about it. Whereas there's a number of clubs in Ireland that would be in Europe quite regularly, and certainly Shamrock Rovers, as we know. To me, it's not a surprise, but it's a surprise to a lot of people. Andy Lyons, yeah. I mean, I'd love Andy Lyons. Could you imagine Andy Lyons as a left wing back and James Brown as a right wing back? That would be crazy. That's Shamrock Rovers levels, to be honest. And maybe that's why Pats haven't signed a left wing back, to be honest, because I know for a fact Stephen Kenny's been looking to try and sign Jimmy Brown for the last year or so, And he's always been waiting on that. They could be in the same situation with a left wing back further down the line. With Pats, what's happened with Pats before? Bringing in players for the sake of bringing in players. In fairness, in this window, okay, looks like they haven't done enough. But to be careful, they're not bringing in players for the sake of bringing in players. I think most clubs would prefer that. Okay, they're starting behind some clubs. But I think if you look at it this way, if Pats were in a situation where they were challenging maybe next season, I think most Pats fans would take that. Breslin, yeah. I don't think it's the best going forward, though. Especially if you're playing at wing backs. I think I'd have him at the club as an option. Could League of Ireland overtake Scottish League? Absolutely not. No chance. To be honest. No chance. Not with Celtic and Rangers there as well. I don't think so. Yeah, Kazim seemed lackluster for Pats. It's hard to explain what it was. Another one I heard that wasn't great around the training ground, to be honest, either. Let me have a look at this very, very quickly. Yeah, suddenly, like just from Rovers there, suddenly Shamrock Rovers have a massive squad again, and they've good options. Wing back, Sabalabi will do well there. Brennan can play there. Brennan could also play in one of those 10s that they play. Grant, Kovalevskis is out injured at the moment. So we've got really good options, and Trevor Clark is still there as well. Eldon got an error today in his win over Celtic. Who's going to win the Scottish League, by the way, do you think? Here's a question for Keith. Of the players already signed into the league this year, who do you think has the most potential? So do you mean young players, like say an Adam Brennan type thing? Because Brennan be up there for me for sure. You think Hearts will win the league, Shane? Pats should be splashing the cash tonight. It's not as simple as that, Liam. To be honest, you have to put the money into other areas of clubs as well. Be mad if Rangers won the league in a sense, though, wouldn't it? Didn't they win one game in 8 under Russell Martin or something like that and looked like to be out of it? It'd be mental if they won it. How much did Rovers pay for Sabawale? Good question. I don't know. I could probably find out, but I never did bother. Good question, though. Yeah, that question was a question asked a second ago. It's a loan, is it not? Let me have a look. Could be a loan. Liam, they're spending it buying McDowell's and all the other properties. That's a good point. Yeah. There's a lot of work being done in that regard. It needs to be done. Yeah, it's a loan. It's a loan till June. Still a good sign, though. They may sign him eventually, though. James Brown, incidentally, signed a 3-year contract with Pats, which isn't it brilliant to see that, though, in general, in the league now? Do you remember? And you don't have to go long back to see clubs 1-year contracts. 7 lads gone at the end of the season. Another 7 lads in. At least there's a bit more of a foundation to clubs now as well. And it's brilliant. Even the first division, there's a number of players with 2-year deals. Clubs like Finn Harps, for example. Rovers didn't mention it. Yeah, sorry, I read that already. Thank you very much, pal. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. That'd be fantastic. Same goes for anybody else. That'd be great. Yeah, it's mad. 2021. Mental. It's great to see, though. It is. And the good thing about it as well, it means that clubs have to be more careful and picky about bringing in players from abroad because the pool is a little bit more difficult in the league because it used to be, sure, that club is 8 lads out of contract at the end of the season. We get one of them. And it also means if you really want a player in the league, you have to pay a fee. And clubs can command half decent fees for this league now as well. So I like that. I think it's brilliant. Yeah, Waterford probably let go of 12 players each, but they let them go, if that makes sense. Pats let go 10 players, but they let them go, rather than clubs who are losing 8 or 9 players that they want to keep. who are out of contract. Barrett, there's a few rumours they might have an ACL injury, unfortunately. Casey could be about a month, but not sure on that. Meepo's out for a few months, by the way, as well. Sign Luke O'Regan, loan him back to see summer's great business. Yeah, absolutely. Finished agreeing. Absolutely. That could be a scenario as well. 100% could be a scenario. And Rovers have good options anyway. Like Trevor Clark can play some games when he's fit as well. So yeah, that was true. That was true. I think if Rovers really, really wanted him, they would have got him, though. I'll be honest. Like, Rovers could easily have gone 60, 70 grand. Thank you very much. You'd argue, though, he'd still do very well in that Rovers team because he'd be a fox in the box. But I don't think they really, really want him. Ian O'Brien, Matt Healy, and subs live show, Keith. I'll be honest. I don't see comparisons apart from they're both central midfielders. I think Eaton is a bit more of a. I'm not saying Matt Healy doesn't work off the ball, by the way, but that's more of Eaton O'Brien's game. Do you know what I mean? Is getting around the pitch and that. Healy would be more influential on the ball, to be honest with you. I think they're different players, to be honest with you. Shell's new signing have looked good, especially Lundgren Freitas won the penalty. Yeah, well, we need to give them time to see, yeah, but yeah, decent star. Who's best player in league? Why is it Dawson Devoy? Best player in the league. It's difficult to say. I would say at this minute in time, Devoy is the best midfielder in the league for sure. Would love to see Rory Gaffney at Galway. Just one season with him. Galway man doesn't seem arsed. Yeah. Possibly. What do you think about how Pats play? Like, we make fuck all chance to score barely goals, even if Keenan out fit there. When he said, I think, yeah, I agree with you there. I think he's definitely trying to move to wing backs. You see with Rovers, the wing backs are very influential as attacking forces. Pats need that to have creative, if you like, wing backs. Brown can give you that for sure. I'm not sure they have it on the left. But they also, what Pats are lacking is a number 10, someone with a bit of spark and creativity in that 10. Levy doesn't do that at all, to be honest. So, yeah, no, I do think it could be an issue for them this season, yeah. Seen something else there that popped up, and I think I meant to reply to it, and I think I missed it. What game are you going to on Friday? And there's a fly going around my face. You probably don't see it. On Friday, doing the vlogs. Frog Shells, you going to Shams tonight? I'm not going to Shamrock Rovers and Dundalk on Monday. I won't be able. I won't even be able to do a watch along. Sometimes I do a watch along if I can't make the game, but I won't be around basically. I'll try and watch that one back though. I'll be vlogging Bohemians and Shamrock Rovers, yeah. Why do people think League of Ireland players can't play for Ireland when they can perform in horrendous facilities part-time level with horrendous pitches? Not like Team Side, that's talent. Part-time level is probably a bit harsh, to be honest with you. I genuinely think you have to be in the Championship to play for Ireland, though. The Championship is a high level. I know people say Ireland are poor, but there's still players in the Premier League and the Championship. Are all the clubs going to have a service charge in a year up to 10%? Seems like it, doesn't it? It does seem like it, yeah, to be honest, Oisin. League of Ireland got to 12 teams future. Yeah, I'd love if it went to 12 or even 14 teams. I'd love a situation whereby you play each other twice. I don't like the playing each other 4 times thing. Levy going around like headless chicken. Unfortunately he does, doesn't he? Fortunately he does. He can carry the ball, but the problem is he doesn't look for 1-2s or look for passes, and often he just runs into cul-de-sacs. And if you're a player playing with him, you're kind of thinking he's not going to give me the ball, but he doesn't score goals either. Why is everyone trying to play back threes now? Fair question, Ben. Fair question. The answer is I don't know. But the good thing is it means a lot of teams are looking to play 2 up front, which I love. Do you see any other players like Cunningham and McLean coming back to League of Ireland? Other players like, yeah. There was rumours of Shane Duffy, by the way, coming back to Derry. Could we see that happen at one point, potentially? I'm trying to think who's there at the moment who you could see coming back. You could see it for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think of other players though, off the top of my head. Bit late for Robbie Keane, I'd say, is it? My player of the season for Pats this season will be Keane Levy. God, don't know about that man. It's a bit like, Loud GA jersey though. It's O'Neill since the 90s, so it's not surprising, is it? Coleman, yeah, shout. I just get the feeling Coleman retires, doesn't he? Over there, Shane. The vlogging few get further afield this season, Cork. It's difficult. I do have interest, but the problem is on Friday nights mostly I'm working till 6:30, so it can be even I find it difficult to get to Dundalk. I actually took Friday off there to get to Dundalk and Drogheda. So that's a tough one. I'd love to do it more often. It just doesn't suit annoyingly. I'd have to book days off and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I do want to try and get to Sligo though at one point, definitely. One or two of them for sure. Matt Doherty, Hendrick. Yeah, mate, just have a feeling they won't. Would Hendrick get in, say, Shamrock Rovers team? Honestly, I don't know. Say it as an example. I'm not sure. Let's see if there's anything else happening in the transfer world. All quiet at the moment. The deadline, it closes at 12. But as I said, it's possible that registration can go through, has to go through by 12, but announcements may not happen till tomorrow. That's possible as well. Thanks for watching, everyone. And once again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Let me have a look. I'm just looking around at the moment, see if I can find anything. The Clatter one is one that will happen at some point for Derry. How it'll happen, I'm not sure. Again, as I said, if players get released from their contracts, they can still sign for clubs. That could be the case with Cotter as well. Yeah, anyway, back to the questions. Coleman would be a fool not to just slip straight into coaching job over at Everton. Yeah, I don't see. I agree. I don't see it happening. Sorry, start working Moyes. Exactly, that's true. That's a fair point. I know that. Love the vlogs, chatting to the games. Keep it. Cheers, Irish boy. Thank you. Who do you support? I always feel bad sometimes when I chat to some people at games that I'm terrible with names, by the way, in general. Sometimes I forget Billy's name, so. Many of them have young kids settled in England and don't want to move. Yeah. Like it's different with McLean there. McLean always wanted to come back to Derry, so. Kevin Zeffy is an interesting one, you're right. Curious case. Didn't he play for Sligo Rovers in a friendly last season? And that was it. It was weird. I do think a lot of these young players, I keep saying it, and I understand why they do it, and I understand money and agents, and I get all that. But an awful lot of them, they move far too early for my liking. Like, where's Zeffy at now? Do you know what I mean? As in, where does he go from here? Does he feel like, I can't come back to a League of Ireland club now? But where does he go from here? As an example, that's just an example. Yeah, but I think most of the players, we're talking about the Irish players coming back to play League of Ireland, most of them will come back if they simply want to settle, like if they're from Cork or, Donegal or Galway or Shane, there's no reason why he can't come back here, but sometimes pride. Prime example, Alex Murphy, especially Newcastle playing no wins. Yeah. But should Murphy at least not go, surely there's somewhere he can go. Even in League One, let's say. First I came back to England playing. Yep. It's entertained. The growing dedication of the league. Thanks very much, Liam. Kevin Long. There's a shout. Kevin Long. I could see Jake O'Brien one day down the line, potentially. Obviously, a long way down the line. Did Newcastle really refuse to send him on loan? That's strange, isn't it? Hmm. Hmm. But you see these players. Who's the other one? Oh, what's the young lad's name? Is it Heffernan? Carl Heffernan moved to Newcastle. I think is now in the conference. Is that right? Correct me if I'm wrong there. Yeah. And what it is, it's I know it's agents and possibly parents as well, to be honest, as well. It doesn't help. And I can understand it. It's tough. I mean, if you're 16, 17, 18 and being an English club at 18 or a Milan or Leon or whoever it is at the age of 6, 17 come in for you, it's hard to say no though, isn't it? It would be hard to say no at the same time. Like, who's going to have the balls, if you like, at 16 or 17 to say you're playing for, I don't know, Finn Harps or Cork City or whoever it may be, to say, Tottenham come in for you or whatever, I'm not going. You're not going to have the balls, are you? That's it. Harrogate League Two, which is probably roughly League of Ireland level anyway. Do you know what I mean? And lower than some of the clubs in the League of Ireland as well, of course. But yeah, that's what happens. I still think though any player, and I do think shame is a thing with the young players, but it's bizarre because I think any player made it. If you're getting paid to play football, you've made it. It's as simple as that. Melia, do you think he went across too soon? I think technically they all understand why they move, as I said before, but I'd be surprised if Mealy ever makes it at Tottenham, I'll be honest with you. Jacob Bryan is an example of that. Unbelievable, yeah. And there are cases of that as well, but there's an awful lot of cases that go the other way. I think that's the point. If you do, though, don't you? And you always have to fall. Think that way. I think some young players think if it doesn't, if he's gone through that, if I'm honest. But I think some young players think they failed if it doesn't work. But if you've put a serious effort in, your attitude is good, and you just maybe don't have enough quality to make it at a high level club, you haven't failed though. The only way you failed is if you've messed it up due to poor attitude and you haven't worked hard enough. That's how you fail. Otherwise, you don't fail. Who do you think is the best young Irish talent not in League of Ireland? Not in League of Ireland. That's a tough one. Does Lamil Yamal, does he count as a young talent? As such, well, he is a young talent, but you know what I mean? Has to be him, surely, no? I think. Let me have a quick look here again, see if anything's happening on the transfer front. See if there's any news around here. Again, if you're new, please subscribe. That would be fantastic. Right. Where are we? Absolutely, Tom. But that's what I'd be saying to any young player. Now, there's probably agents and some parents can be annoying in that way as well. If I had a young lad, let's say, which I do, but if I had a young lad and just say he was moving to, we'll throw in Leon there, my advice would be simply go, work hard, do your best. And if you're not good enough to get in the Leon team or whatever, so be it. You haven't failed. If you come back to the League of Ireland and are getting paid to play, or any team in League Two, let's say in England or whatever it is, you've made it. Simple as that. Josh Honan could struggle again in the Lincoln team when he gets back from injury or going well. Possibly. I do think he's a capability, though, for sure. Missing the opportunity. I think because they're in the relegation zone, they're definitely not going to give him the opportunity. He's never going to play this year anyway. Mad to think of Spurs, Billy Johnson to Leon confirmed. Mad to think the Spurs could get relegated, but they genuinely could get relegated. We're going too far off track. That was the perfect match for Arsenal today to play Spurs, wasn't it? They could have. Right, what's going on here? What's going on here? Any more news? Let's see. Yes, yes, yes. Speaking of Neil going anywhere, there's a decent chance O'Neill might go in the summer. Bristol City are big into him. Superb header the other day, by the way, by Billy O'Neill, wasn't it? Has anyone seen Billy O'Neill play, by the way? He's electric. He's small. He's still a bit slight, but he's electric. Update. Clatter, I still expect Clatter to sign for Derry City. There's a couple of factors here. I've mentioned it earlier in the stream. But he could still get released by his club. So if he gets released by mutual consent by his club, like he can still sign next week for Derry City, you know, that kind of way. But as I said, there could be signings that may happen, but may not be announced till tomorrow either at this point. Shane, I agree with that. Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's, yeah, I agree with that, Shane, 100%. Look at Evan Ferguson. Bohs went to Brighton, got his opportunity to begin. Yeah, yeah. Don't forget now Forest get ready as well. Yeah. Yeah, but Forest, yeah. And actually, they've been down for a long time, really. So, Spurs going down and be mad. Like, Cillian Murphy, Cork. I have watched Cillian Murphy, yeah. I have. Superb player. Really good balance, I think. He's only 16 as well. Balance. Great football and brain. It's always the thing you look at in the young players. What's their football and brain like? Because you can physicality and that can be improved. But if they have it at that age, in terms of football IQ, they usually have a good chance. Yeah, no, he's superb. He's superb. The free kick, the technique for the free kick for Maguire's header was the last day was unbelievable, I think, as well. Very cool as well. Any player first division think should be playing Premier Division? Could be. I think McAteer is capable of playing. Of Finn Harps for sure. Definitely. Let me think. Exclude players. I'm not. You can't count Reece Brennan because he's on loan from Bohs. Trying to think. Billy O'Neill, of course. Possibly a Kude, a Kerry. Possibly. There's quite a few at Cork that are definitely Premier Division players, by the way. I have to think of who else. I'm trying to think of the clubs. I don't think anybody at loan as such yet. Longford, probably not either. Wexford? Mike Rowe's done well in the first division. I don't think he gets in any Premier Division team, to be honest. There might be one or two more, just can't think. You could argue Killian Towlett starting for Galway, but he's sent on loan to that loan. Well, Cork City last year, I still think they were unlucky because their key players were all injured, essentially. All the players that needed to be fit for Cork City to have a chance staying up weren't fit really last season. That's what killed Sean McHale. I'd be surprised. I'll be honest, Stephen. I'd be surprised if he gets in the team. They've got Shane Blaney, of course. They've got Ollie Denham, who I don't think he's as good as them. Certainly not yet. And they still have McIlroy. Now, McIlroy struggled a bit, in my opinion, so far this season. But I'd still be very surprised if he gets in ahead of him. It's an interesting loan, though, in that case. He can play right back as well, though, which is another factor. Had a decent loan spell at Dundalk last year. Gary Buckley and King Coleman, I don't think they're getting any Premier Division team, to be honest. Not now. I honestly don't think so. No, I don't think they do. Coleman possibly at Waterford, maybe. What clubs will regret letting the player go or leave? Bohs have done well in the market, but I wouldn't say regret letting leave because they've no choice. James Clark, would be a loss, of course, and Honan's a loss for Rovers, but it's not like they let them leave as such. I'm trying to think of who else. Regretting letting a player leave. I don't think that I genuinely think Derry City, with all the players they brought in, I don't think they should have let Boyce leave, if I'm honest with you. Griffin, yeah. Tends to get a few injuries as well. Although, to be honest with you, Griffin is a little bit different in terms of he wanted to move back down to Cork, basically, and that's why he's a Cove, essentially. Had some Derry fans show me vids of Eddie Beach. Seems to really rush signing Kamara. He's gone. Definitely a rush signing with Mara for 8 weeks, 7 or 8 weeks is a problem because Beach should have saved that free kick. Genuinely should be saving that free kick. It's a set piece. It's not in the corner. There's not an awful lot of pace in it. He should be saving that. The young goalkeeper, Callister, probably should have saved the 2 goals they conceded against Dundalk. That is a problem for Derry City. Third division, I don't know what my opinion is on it. I simply have to see. I think we have to wait and see how it works out. I think it'll need a year or two to have a proper opinion on it, I think, and see how it actually plays out, to be honest with you. Good point. Yeah, fair point. That's a fair point. Waterford's only an hour away from him, to be fair. They could do another centre back, but yeah, no, fair point. Yeah. Nothing else going on, it seems, at the moment. Again, if there's any transfers, they could happen tomorrow, as in be announced tomorrow. Say if there's clubs finalising registrations and stuff in the last, say, hour or so, you may not see an announcement till tomorrow. That's very possible as well. So it is, to be fair. David Skelton, you must be very happy with Bohs' start to the season so far. Anyway, it is only a start though, but it's a good start. It's always interesting to see what happens in the first 9 games of the season when everyone actually plays each other. Connor Parts will be signed like goalies, I suppose. Yeah, right. I wouldn't trust Connor Parsons either. I'll be honest with you. I see where you're coming from Galway perspective. Yeah, it could be an addition, but to Galway, but yeah, I don't know. Wouldn't be a fan really. Flop sign the season. Jake Mulroney, I think, will be a flop signing, but that he was already a flop. But yeah, I think that could be one. If James McLean struggled, he'd be considered a flop, wouldn't he? He could be a big flop if he struggled. Killian says James Clark. They need to play James Clark in his best position, though. Killian. They haven't stuck out in the right. And, as I said, there's a lot of gelling to do with Derry City. At least play players where they're most suited to. The problem is with James McLean, could be a problem with James McLean. If he struggles badly, he's still going to play every week because there'd be a problem if he doesn't. But he shouldn't be playing midfield. I knew they'd play in midfield. I called it, actually. But he loves Jake. James, if they don't move him out in that midfield, he's certainly not a holding player. And certainly not playing in a 2, to be honest. But then Clark out on the right, and then it's all a bit messy. The problem with Derry, though, defensively, I'll say this, though. I know Stoute played the last game, but 2 new central defenders. So they've had McLean and Slevin. Two brand new central defenders about playing together. Boyce has gone from the right. By the way, Fleming's a very good player. But then Mar getting injured. You've new goalkeepers coming in. They've had 3 different goalkeepers, by the way, so far have played this season, which is a problem. And that's exactly the problem. You're not playing ahead of Duffy. Fleming has been playing left back. So there's your issue. So Slevin and Barry McLean are all left footed, which could be a problem. There's something weird, isn't there, about like I wouldn't mind 2 right-footed centre backs, let's say. But 2 left-footed centre backs is definitely a bit weird. I'll be off at the Fairies on Friday, what like you'd. It's incredible how well our brand new back four settled in, organised and dominant. Yeah. True, but would you not say they played 3 at the back though, really, David, though, in the games? Do you think Shelbourne will get Conference League or push for Rugby League? I think Rovers will get in the Conference League, yeah. Yeah. See, it could be. There's 2 ways of looking at it. McLean comes in, galvanizes the dressing room, has standards. People look up to him. People play better. But if McLean is struggling and not playing well, right? And by the way, he's fit. It's not as if he hasn't been training or anything like that. He's fit. He probably should be fitter than most. But if he's not playing well, then how can he kind of raise the standard? Do you know what I mean? It's a difficult one. It could be a very difficult one. And it could prove to be a problem for Lynch and the death of Lynch in many ways. Only 2 games. I haven't seen a back four that good since Shells 2 years ago. Been 4 against Derry and Sligo. Keith Devoy pulls back to a bit of the ball and back. Default back 4. I think they alternate, David, between having the ball and without the ball, though, which is a bit, which seems to be not a new thing, but it's a newish thing in the League of Ireland as such, on the ball and off the ball, if that makes sense. The only thing with Bohs, the black mark I'd give against them is you could argue their squad's a bit too big. If you were just to throw in something like that, maybe. Yeah, but Dara Power was a really good sign as well, to be fair, actually. Really good sign. And he does cover a lot of ground. He was a big signing for Bohs, actually. An understated signing, but a big signing for Bohs. So McLean playing left wing back for Wrexham before he came Derry. He definitely wasn't playing centre midfield anyway. I think he was, but he definitely wasn't playing centre midfield. There's a couple of players I worry for minutes wise. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, it could work for them. It's more of a devil's advocate thing. If you wanted to throw anything, like, in that sense, negative, let's say, in terms of possibility being negative for Bohs, it could be that squad may be a bit too big. But ironically, as mentioned previously in the stream by a few people as well, they need a striker. Even if it's another striker to make up the numbers, they need a striker, I think. Any prediction Bray heading to Cork Friday? Yeah. I'm saying yeah. Because I'll have a show coming out during the week, First Division show. I'll have all my predictions there. Defenses were fairly even in the league last year. 7 goals conceded, separate in top 6. Yeah. Funny enough, Pats had the best defensive record last year, but it was weird because they actually conceded a lot of bad goals as well. Strange one. I think they 3-0. Did they 3-0 draws with Drogheda? 3-0 draws between Pats and Drogheda last season, and 1-1-0 win for Pats, which was a very late goal. Crazy. Talk about cancelling each other out, eh? I shoot the room with Parry back. Yeah, it's a room I've heard as well. Like anyone else, I haven't heard any more on it. But judging by the transfers and the quickness of bringing James Roach back from Athlone would suggest that there's definitely a long-term injury there, I think. To be fair, I'll tell you what though. Is it though? Sorry. Yeah, mad. Sorry, go back to this one here. Highlight this one here. Bohs playing Hickey in defence is criminal. He should be in attack. He got Galway good for goals, assisting, scoring. He went off the mark though for a while in the second half of the season with his goal scoring. But to be fair, Ryan, he's done well at centre back for Bohs so far. And he did start. He played centre back at Lone Town before he moved to Galway. He's still a danger from set pieces though, despite playing as obviously as a defender. Seems like every time I watch him play, it's weird, yeah. The weird thing is, I know I did be talking to a Pats fan I know well, and Anang is brilliant. The problem is 2 games live where his 2 mistakes last season. And everyone thinks of that. And human beings, we're like that a little bit. One thing can decide our opinion, but he's been fantastic. In terms of command in the area, I don't think he's a better goalkeeper in the league. He's a good shot stopper. He's good with his feet. Sometimes he can make a mistake or two with his feet because he uses it so much, being honest with you. That's the thing. But most keepers in our league, or all goalkeepers in our league, they do make mistakes from time to time. Spreading rumours about player doing ACL's bad form. I don't think people are spreading rumours. It's a thing that people have heard. I don't think people want him to have done his ACL. I think goalkeeper wise though, I think the league is good for goalkeepers generally though. Like, is there a bad? Would you say there's a bad goalkeeper in the league as such? Really? I think every club has a decent goalkeeper. I would suggest. To be fair. Even Sam Sargent, Sligo. I'm not sure about McMullen though at Waterford. I think he makes some absolute clangers. Nang's been brilliant. Having helps. Yeah. Sam Sargent, yeah, he's okay. He's not the worst though, is my point. I don't think there's. I was forgot to say that Clatter was the game Friday and stands seemed like, yeah. Clatter will sign. He will sign. There's no doubt about it. It's just a question of how that deal is actually done. Sargent makes great saves, Sligo. I actually have him in the team of the week, which I'm going to release probably soon, actually. I did put him in team of the week. But to be honest, in terms of goalkeeping saves, there weren't too many options this week. McGinty was another option. He made a very good save against Pats as well. Mullen would cost Waterford points 1 week, then get 3 points. Yeah. He made one really outstanding save, Killian, I think, in that match in particular. There was one. I don't think he's a bad goalkeeper, though. I don't think, like, if you look at it, like, even McMullen, like, I'd probably have him as the weakest number 1 in the league. He's not terrible, though. Watts is decent at Galway as well, like. Yeah, to be fair, though, in his defence, though, Sligo Rovers had a shocker of a game, full stop against Bohs, didn't they? Guys, if you're new in, please subscribe. That would be fantastic. That'd be brilliant. Premier Division show is out as well, by the way. I'm going to have a First Division show during the week and another Premier Division show during the week based on the games on Friday. There's going to be a matchday vlog, Bohs and Shamrock Rovers, a daily mount. And I won't be at the game tomorrow night at Hall Stadium, unfortunately. I won't be around. If I can't make a game for whatever reason, or Friday night, or some Saturday games, I'm trying to do watch-alongs as well. I've done 2 this season. Yeah, Teresa for Bohs, yeah. I had him in goalkeeper. He was my goalkeeper in the team of the year last year, but I think there were 3 or 4 genuine options. I couldn't split 3 or 4. And no matter who you were going to pick, someone was going to say you should have picked the other ones, that kind of way. I was close actually between in particular Treska and Nang and Denison. The reason why I went for Treska, because we're so tight in my mind, is because Bohs finished in Europe, and I said that tipped it for me. Evan Watts, brilliant goalkeeper, believes always stay up. Of course, Clark has gone, hasn't he? Yeah, to Athlone Town. Hopefully Bray Wanderers win against Cork. Hi, pal. First division show out later this week. Must have been happy with Bray's win on Friday. Markets Field. Lovely header, as I said previously, from Billy O'Neill to give them the win. If you haven't subscribed, guys, once again, please subscribe to the channel. I might wrap it up soon enough. As I said, some signings may still happen, and they may not be announced till tomorrow at this point in terms of clubs making announcements, but some signings may still happen. What do you think of your club's transfer window? Any input from my Johnny Ward hates Jared McMahon on X? I've no idea. I've no idea what's going on there, pal. Honestly, no idea. Don't know. Oh, no. Surprised. Excuse me. I should have got a glass of water for this. I've been on it for what? An hour and a half. I'm doing a lot of talking. Surprised no Premier Division team signed Conor Brand. He's very good for Cork. Brand's a good goalkeeper, yeah. Again, probably because the Premier Division teams are all right for goalkeepers, by the way. That's probably one of the reasons. Ireland seems to have no real issues producing keepers, probably. Yeah. Yeah, even at international level, to be fair. Kelleher, Bazunu, I still think is good. He's had a few injuries, but he's a good goalkeeper. Record fee paid by club for a player in League of Ireland. Victor for Shelbourne Rovers. Is that what you mean? Or do you mean by a League of Ireland club to a League of Ireland club? Shells for on Casey this winter. I'm not really sure, yeah. But that's from the North. That's from the Irish League, isn't it? I think, does he mean League of Ireland club to League of Ireland club? Why would the FAI ban drugs from away instead of on home games? I think that makes no sense. I've no idea, Alex. I think we're going to find out more on what's going to happen there on Monday. I think the FAI, there was a meeting on Monday, I think. So we'll have to see what happens there. Either club to club or even in the league, into the league. Well, Lauren Casey, 100 grand. That's the case. Shelbourne signed him for 100 grand. So yeah, maybe for 3 months. Yes, Shells from the summer. It depends. It depends how Lundgren and Freitas do. If they come in and do well over the course of the next few weeks, that'd be massive. And if they can somehow get Boyd fit at some level, he's still a handful, Boyd, when fit though. Pat's looking at bringing in Paddy O'Connor for Rennie somewhere here. I seriously read that as Sinead O'Connor in my head for some reason. Boyd, I still under contract. I know Drogheda United were snooping around, but I can't see him leaving Shells at the moment, no. All right, what's going on here? Highest fee received overall. Yeah, as I said, Victor, yeah. Victor is the highest received, yeah. Shell's got an away ban for Galway when there's issues with Pyro and Draw. It seems present. Possibly, yeah. I'm going to take Boyd. They wouldn't pay a fee for him anyway. They'd have to get him on a free, really, wouldn't they? And I wouldn't imagine they'd offer big wages for him because of the injuries he has. Yeah, it's still mad though. If we're talking about League of Ireland to League of Ireland, it's still mad that that's the record fee, isn't it? And it's also mad that record fee was way back in the 2000s, by the way. First of all, that with Kenny Swelsey lost the dressing room looks of it. I don't think so, Taylor. I don't think that's true, to be honest with you. There's always these kind of rumors. He doesn't look like he's lost the dressing room to me, to be honest. Especially when he's having a big say in what players are in and out. at a club. He had a massive say in the players out this season. I think this will be Forrester's last year anyway. His contract is up and he's starting a new academy, and I think he realises that, to be fair. Talbot, the USA, not a bad move for James Talbot. I think he needs something new probably in his life, to be honest with you. Talbot's club owned by Zaid. That's 100% correct. The record fee, are we talking about... We're going back again. Okay. The record fee for a player leaving the League of Ireland's Victor to Arsenal for 2 million. The record fee paid for by an Irish club, Shelbourne, is 100 grand for Oran Casey, but the record between clubs in the League of Ireland is still Eamon Zaid, braided Drogheda at 80,000. Sean Moore, yeah, he seems to be a mystery. I've no idea on that one. Doesn't he? Yeah, Sean Moore is a weird one. Just tune in, haven't subscribed, guys. Hit that subscribe button. It would be fantastic. Just go back on that one there. I missed one there. Yeah, Paddy O'Connor, Reading. That would be an interesting signing. There's no doubt about it. But I genuinely think that's what Kenny's doing. He's looking at players for the future. What I mean for the future, down the road, kind of going, I'm not bringing anyone for the sake of it, but I can get this guy in 6 months. I'll get this guy in 6 months. That's what he did with James Brown, as an example. Yeah, very good team that Drogheda side. Still mad that that's a record fee between clubs, though, isn't it? Like 80 grand back then when you think about it. Honestly. Duffy the Derry, possibly. No, Boyd. I think Boyd will see out his contract at Shells, to be honest. To be fair, I think Boyd will see out his contract at Shells. He's such a handful, but the injuries are killer. His muscle injuries are like a killer. It's very hard to sort them out. That's true, actually. If Dyer did leave for Derry, it would have been about 80 grand. Interesting. You feel that that's going to be broken soon, don't you? Particularly the fact that Shells paid 100 grand for Oran Casey from the Irish League in the summer. You just get the feeling that 80 grand Zaid deal is going to be broken probably in the next year, you'd imagine. Hard to see Shane coming back unless he likes hitting wages. Well, he could do, though. Moses left 40k. Yeah, he did, but wasn't the release clause higher if it was an Irish club? I think that was his release clause 40k, but I heard, and I'm not 100% sure on this, the release clause was higher to another League of Ireland club. What player do you think will break the record, Sulky? No idea. Who knows? You'd imagine Shamrock Rovers could do it. Like Waterford paid 40k for Conan Noonan, like Waterford. You know? Another interesting one to look at just came into my head for some reason. Joe Redmond's had a contract to Pats at the end of the season. Which is one to keep an eye on. We were thought Drogheda would have gone for Brown, to be honest. I just don't think they would have been able to compete with Pats, to be honest. They have 2 right backs at the moment anyway as well. 6 is crazy when you think about it. Isn't it, though? Yeah. Crazy. Like 2006, like 19 years ago. And it's still the record. That's madness, like. Like, if you think of, say, Premier League football and the transfers, like, they've gone up and up and up and up over that time. And our league hasn't beaten it. I think that's amazing when you think about it. I think Shells were rumored to have an interest in Redmond. They inquired, all right, yeah, but there was never a chance. I think if he leaves, he'll go to Rovers, being honest. Shells got banned from Galway because of Drogheda again. Yeah, it was a newly found Found, but now defunct large men group that came in through weight around have all been banned current since. I think Redmond's one of the last parts of the click mentality in the rest of them. I don't think Redmond is part of the click mentality, genuinely. I think that'd be unfair. I don't think he is. Honestly, he wouldn't be. I hear what you're saying, though. Keith versus Daily Toss charity fight. What's going on here? Fight to the death, or my word. It looks like now if there's going to be any signings, though, they're going to be announced tomorrow. And if I'm a Derry fan, I wouldn't be concerned about Clatter because he could still leave in a free, as I said. Contract might be ripped up there at, is that Notts County, isn't he? Yeah, that's his actual club. Rovers Friday. I'll be at Bohs and Rovers on Friday. Yeah. I certainly will. That's going to be a really, really interesting game, particularly if Rovers win tomorrow. Like, you've Bohs in 7, Rovers in 6, and it's just going to add to the whole thing. And it's Bohs' first proper home match of the season at Dalymount as well. That could be a cracker. Not just because it could be a cracker because it's a Dublin derby between Rovers and Bohs. It could be a cracker because they're two good sides more than anything else. Who do you think will be the first manager sacked this year? I'm going to throw it in the line. I'm going to say Tiernan Lynch. League of Ireland transfer record not broken because married players. Exactly. That's a very fair point. Excellent point. And you got to think to yourself, it has to be soon. Transfer being linked to Bohs. You think it'll happen? I don't think so personally, but you never know. First manager sacked, say Russell Sligo. I think Russell Sligo could be bottom and he wouldn't get sacked. Genuinely. Daily, unless Waterford are really struggling at the foot of the table. But I hear you. Will Shells ever win again? Shells ever win again? No, they'll never win again. They'll never win a thing again. Enjoyed the League of Ireland chat keyed every few weeks. League of Ireland stream possible. Yeah, I could definitely do it based on something. Yeah, I'm doing watch alongs from time to time as well. So there's always chats in the watch alongs as I'm watching the games and that as well. Again, if you haven't subscribed, guys. Do you think Bohs can win title charge? They could be. It's hard to tell. Like, there was a situation there a couple of seasons ago after 8 games were top, weren't they? If they can maintain being solid at the back throughout the season, I'd give them a chance. It's hard. We need to see 9 games where everyone actually plays each other once to have a little bit of an idea of things in general. There's certainly players, like if Devoy gets injured for, say, 3 months, suddenly then they haven't a hope, in my opinion. So there's things like that. That's where Rovers probably ultimately have it over every other team, isn't it? 1 or 2 other teams, you look at them and you go, if they're missing him or him, and it's an if, by the way, but they're gone. Whereas Rovers aren't like that, I suppose. Reynolds, I'm not fully convinced on him. But I'd love a manager to actually... People weren't convinced in Stephen Bradley, put it that way. I'd love a manager to kind of prove you wrong at times like that. It's brilliant when you see that, I think. You never know. Daniel, how are you? I'm going to Bohs and Rovers on Friday. I won't be at the game Monday, unfortunately. It's only week 3, no title jars. Fair point. Gary, I'll take you on in a charity fight, to be fair. Name the charity. Keith versus Roddy Collins. Roddy Collins, nah, I couldn't fight Roddy. Roddy's a legend. Love Roddy Collins. No chance. Man, you've got a good jersey collection. I have a lot of bloody jerseys. I have to say, in fairness, a lot of clubs gave me their jerseys as well. And to be fair as well. Gave me jerseys as well, to be fair. Waterford and Sligo send me down a jersey every season, which is fantastic. Like, brilliant to see any new stand opening in Talca. Yeah, it's about time. Brilliant stuff. A lot of money went into that. I've always thought Reynolds was a great system manager. Yeah. It's hard to know, though, because what if he does do well this season? You know? It was vitally got into Europe, though, at the end of last season. Say if they missed out on the last day. That was crucial, by the way. Worst stadium in Premier Division, in your opinion? Worst stadium. That has to be Dundalk. Pound for pound, because they had the money, it has to be Dundalk. It's also the worst away end in the Premier Division. I still like some of the like, even though like you might say Dalymount's an estate and other grounds, Richmond, whatever. There's still that bit of character with them. There's a feeling with them. It's hard to explain. RSC. I agree. I don't like the running track though. I don't like the running track. It's too far. The pitch, atmosphere wise as well. Duffer's waiting for Orange job, I reckon. Possibly, who knows? That'd be a shout though, wouldn't it? Duffer to Derry. That would be a shout though. Kenny to sack by Main Duffer. No chance with Damien Duff managed Pats, by the way. Not a hope in hell. Mate is a Pats fan, reckons Pats will miss out in Europe again. Do you agree? I think they might do, yeah. I find it difficult to have them in the top four. Even if, by the way, they could improve this season, as in improve what they're doing this season and still not qualify for Europe. Because I just think there's stronger squads. Rovers, unless Derry really muck up, I think Bohs have a stronger squad. I think Shell's having had a good start, but I think they've a stronger squad. The only thing is, a couple of key injuries could be out for a good while. That's the only thing. There's a lot of little things here. Like that's a brilliant thing I think about the league, by the way. That you're not sure. Like 3 years ago, you could nearly pick 1 to 10, pretty much no problem, or very damn close. Now it's really hard. It's brilliant though. The best semi-league of Ireland for atmosphere. For atmosphere, it depends on the games in general, and that probably Drogheda, I think. Score prediction: Cork and Bray. Really big Bray match this season, possibly. But I'll be honest, if there's no Premier Division games, maybe. And why is it always freezing cold, by the way? Here's a question for everybody at the Carlisle grounds, even if it's 25 degrees in the summer. Cork and Bray, first division show coming out during the week, but I'll give you a little spoiler. I think Cork will win 2-0. John Russell in if Kenny's sacked. I don't know. See, John Russell, if he went to Pats, I think he'd be under a bit of pressure, because I think there's no pressure at Sligo Rovers for John Russell. And he likes to play attacking football, and sometimes they can be naive and they can get a hammering, as we see every season. They get the odd hammer in Sligo, don't they? They've already had it this season as well. And he gets away with it at Sligo. Would he get away with it at Pats? I'm not so sure. I think also at Sligo, he doesn't come up against teams that might have a low block a lot of the time. Definitely Dundalk followed by Drogheda. What's this now, Gary? The stadiums? Worst stadiums, I think you're saying. Keith, who do you think will be top goal scorer in Premier Division? Very bloody difficult to say, isn't it? I honestly thought Keane, if he was fit, stays fit, but I don't trust he stays fit, to be honest with you. It'll be someone that takes penalties as well. We need players to break through that 15 goal mark, and it seems to be difficult. Whelan wasn't in people's heads, suddenly gets a hat trick. If he gets on a run, Ammond hasn't started well. I don't think he'll get as much service this season at Waterford, by the way. I think Daly's quite conservative. He's already missed a penalty as well, which hasn't helped. Michael Noonan, if he plays a lot of games for Rovers, could be a shout. Haven't actually given an answer there, by the way. The best atmosphere in both leagues is Cork, but they have to be winning. Yeah, there's a lot of clubs are like that, though, aren't they? They have to be winning. It's but that's the thing. The test is almost when you see a side that aren't winning. How good is the atmosphere, basically? You know? Right, what time are we? I think I'll wrap up soon. Doesn't look like there's going to be any more transfers, and if there is, it won't be announced tomorrow at this point. So, Keith, what you make of Derry reducing away teams' capacity to Brandywell coaches on travel to Brandywell now? Disappointing, basically, isn't it? It's very disappointing, to be fair. Gotta go. Great show. Cheers. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm gonna go as well, guys. So thanks for watching. Brilliant talking to people. Next time we do this, I'll have a glass of water though because my throat is so bloody dry. But yeah, look forward to all the content, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and we'll talk to you soon. I'll try and do this in a couple of weeks as well. I don't know, just a random live show for no particular reason. See you later. Good night.